Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm at Nelson Ledges State Park. I've been here a couple times if you've been watching videos in the channel for a while. This past winter, I decided to start learning long exposure photography, and there's a couple waterfalls here at this park. So I thought now that spring is here, the weather's a little warmer, we got some green leaves and moss and stuff finally blooming, some ferns and things, that it would be a good idea to come back and try out some more long exposure photography on the waterfalls. So just got to the park, walking through the entrance, heading over. There's two different waterfalls. I think there's actually three, but there's two that I like, that I think look good. So we're heading to the first one now. They're on complete opposite sides of the park, so a little bit of hiking today. Good exercise. Being stuck in quarantine and stuff, I'm happy to get out and about. Here in Ohio, we have 6 months of winter where you're stuck in the house, and then it finally starts warming up and this whole coronavirus thing happens. So figured a good day out, nice overcast sky, no direct harsh sunlight. So I thought, man, it'd be a perfect day. Try to get some shots of these waterfalls. Spring water flowing pretty good, so they should be flowing nice, because sometimes in the middle of the summer they start to trickle and stuff. So that's the plan. So like I said, we're gonna hike there to the first waterfall, and then we'll see what it looks like. I'm hoping they're flowing good. I mean, we've been getting some rain and stuff, so we'll see. Roll the intro. Alright guys, so I got to the waterfall. We're quite a bit away from it. I'll show here on the screen kind of my viewpoint of the waterfall. And here, just to show you guys kind of where I'm shooting from, so you can see the waterfall right here above my head. Got the tripod and stuff set up right here, and we're shooting up. Got these logs laying on the ground leading up. Got this rock right here that's kind of my frame. Again, you'll see it in the picture, but to kind of give you an idea, I'm quite far away from the waterfall right now, just using the zoom and stuff on the lens to get some different vantages. So I'm set up on the tripod here. I got a K&F ND filter on. I don't like using variable ND filters for long exposure shots because you can get a little bit of that X cross pattern in your shots. However, my 1000 ND filter that I brought is too dark for the current lighting. It's a cloudy day, plus with all of the tree canopies and everything covering, I'm just unable to get that in shot. So we got the shot lined up here. I'm looking at about, I want to do a couple different exposures. My aperture set at 9. I'm at 100 ISO, and I'm at a 20-second shutter speed. So my shutter is going to stay open for 20 seconds. Get that in, and I got a 2-second timer on. That way no vibration for me hitting the shutter button. And then we'll let this thing go for 20 seconds and we'll see how it looks. All right, let me take a look at it. Oh, that looks good, that looks good. There's a little bit of wind, so I think I want to try to get my shutter speed a little lower. Instead of 20 seconds, I want to shoot more like, I probably don't want to go over 10 seconds to be honest. So I think we're going to try 10 seconds with an aperture of 9, ISO of 100, and we're going to turn our ND filter down until we get a nice solid image here with no peeking. Maybe something like that. And then we're going to give that a go right there. Focus on the waterfall in the distance. My histogram looks good. And again, this is a 10-second exposure. We'll see how that looks. All right, let me see. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. I think I want to try an even lower shutter speed though of about 6 seconds. So again, we're going to do that. Focus on the waterfall in the distance. Again, there's a lot of wind, not a lot, but there's a nice little breeze coming through everything. And I'm afraid with too high of a shutter speed, I'm going to get a lot of blurring and stuff in the foliage that's in the foreground. Again, I'm shooting quite far away from the waterfall, so I think as we move closer I'll be able to turn up that shutter speed and get a longer shutter speed. We'll see. All right, let's see what that one looks like. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good right there. I think that's the money shot. 6-second shutter speed. I like that. I might try to zoom in now a little more. Change up my shot just a little bit here. Oh, let's see here. Loosen this real quick. Maybe something like that right there. I like that. I think we're gonna stick with our 6-second shutter speed, aperture of 9, ISO of 100. Oh, we got a good breeze coming through. As soon as I hit that button, I can hear the leaves rustling. So we'll see how that one looks here. Actually, it doesn't look bad, Might try, you know, again, I'm still learning long exposure photography. So I mess around with the settings quite a bit. Mainly my aperture and my shutter speed quite a bit. That way, when I get back home, I can kind of see what the differences are. So I might try an even lower shutter speed of about 4 seconds, just to see what that does for me. Now, I do got some people up on the trail at the top of the waterfall that we're gonna have to wait to move here. They're kind of hanging out, taking photos and stuff, which is cool, I actually think this is a better composition zoomed in real far like this. I still got the rocks and logs and stuff sticking in the frame, as I'll show you guys in the picture when we take it. However, everything looks a little more compressed. Still an aperture of 9, 4-second, ISO of 100. Let's take our shot. That's actually looking pretty good. Might try going back up a little bit. I think I'm gonna try dropping my aperture down even lower here, which means we're gonna have to turn up the ND filter a bit just to see. I'd really like to get the foreground real blurred out. So we're gonna try that. 5-second shutter speed, 5.6 aperture, 100 ISO. We turn that ND filter up a little darker, make sure we're not blowing anything out. And then we'll take a look at that. Oh, that looks pretty. That looks good. I might try to go with an 8-second shutter speed, same exact shot. Oh, that's the money shot right there. All right. So I think we're gonna go ahead now. I think I got a nice wide variety of shots from this angle, the further that I wanted to do. Might take another shot here, you know, moving just the tripod slightly around, see if I can get something a little better. But here's the final image that I think was the best kind of out of this little area right here around me. Now I think we're gonna go ahead and pack everything up and get closer to the waterfall and see if we can get some shots with it closer. All right, let's do this. All right, guys, we are a bit closer to the waterfall. I was planning on getting a little closer for the next portion of photos. However, all these rocks here on the ground leading up to it look really cool in frame of the waterfall and in the camera. So I think we're gonna need a couple shots from here, and then we'll do one final kind of more at the base of the waterfall. So setting up here, we'll see what we get. Very pretty day. I mean, the weather's just perfect. The sky's overcast, so you don't, you know, I'm not really shooting in the sky in the photos at all. Almost everything is just the waterfalls and kind of the foliage around and the trees. So it works out perfect, gives me a nice, good diffused light. The temperature's about perfect. It's not too hot, not sweating or anything being out here. The greens, I mean, look behind me, they look gorgeous. These spring greens coming out, so super excited. Those shots that I got back there, I'm pumped to show you guys because they look good. I'm even more pumped for this spot, I think. We'll see. All right, let's see what we can do here. All right, we got the tripod set up, rocks in frame, shooting with an 8-second shutter speed, aperture of 5.6. I think I'd like using a lower aperture. First, when I was learning, I was using higher apertures like 11, 13, or even 22. As I was kind of learning how to use ND filters and stuff. I like using the lower aperture because I can get the foreground and stuff to kind of really blur, you know, especially when I'm shooting through stuff, which I think always adds interest to a photograph. So, 8-second shutter speed, 5.6 aperture, 100 ISO, and we will focus there on the waterfall. 2-second timer. Make sure we don't get no vibration in the tripod from pressing the shutter button. Then we'll see what this looks like here. It's looking good, looking good. Do one more. Actually, we're gonna zoom in here now some. We want the rock still in frame. This time we're gonna use a 6-second shutter speed again. I mess with the shutter speed mainly, just trying to see what gives me the best kind of look of the water flowing. Because I'm still newer at long exposure photography. I've only been out doing this a couple times, so I'm not 100% sure on the best settings for shutter speed. I don't even know if there is a best setting for shutter speed, or if it's just kind of, you know, an artistic type decision, but that's what it is. We will also shoot a little bit longer of a shutter speed of 10 seconds. We'll try that, see what kind of image that gives us as well. Again, 5.6 aperture still. I'm liking, while I'm shooting through things and I got rocks and foliage in the side of the frames, I'm liking those being blown out. I don't know that I like it all to be in focus. With that said, I am still shooting some shots. Got a spider on my camera. I am still shooting some shots with a higher, like we're gonna do one here within 11 aperture, f11, 10-second timer. Actually, we're gonna drop the timer down to 8 seconds, aperture of f11. Again, because I do want to see the difference between having more stuff in focus or not. We'll make our decision as to which one to keep once we get them all into Lightroom and look at them all. I will say the biggest things I've learned so far from doing long exposure photography and practicing it is, number one, having a really good quality ND filter means a lot. Because if you have a crappy ND filter, number one, you're not going to be able to get dark enough sometimes, especially, again, today, the lighting's pretty good. It's a diffuse light, very cloudy, completely overcast skies. However, on days that it's super sunny out, bright, no clouds in the sky, if you don't have a good ND filter, a lot of times you can't get A, dark enough with having your shutter speed open for a long time. Your images will be blown out. Or two, if you have a cheap ND filter and try to turn it to its max, you'll get kind of this very weird vignette effect, or even worse, a kind of a cross pattern of shadows on your image. It'll look like a black cross right in your image. So that's number one. I have tested a couple. K&F, the filter that I have on now, it actually sucks in my opinion. The only reason I'm using it is because I do have an overcast sky, so I don't have to go too dark on it. Because again, if I do, I get that X pattern. I also bought a Zomi, which is a pretty budget-friendly ND filter, and I actually love the Zomi. That's what I'm using on the camera I'm recording myself with right now. All right, let's adjust the tripod head here a little bit. All right, and now I think we're gonna move down closer to the waterfall. I haven't taken any vertical shots from this location yet, so we'll probably try a couple vertical shots. But again, I'll show kind of my favorite from this position on the screen now, and then we're gonna go ahead and move down to the base of the waterfall and see what kind of angles we can get down there. All right, guys, so same waterfall, another angle of it. I watched a video by Jared Poland, Fro Knows Photo, yesterday, and as I was sitting here shooting this waterfall, it got me thinking. So many times I come out here and I'm doing a vlog or something, and I feel like I gotta keep it exciting and move from spot to spot and all that, you know, keep the pace going. That sometimes I feel like as photographers we need to just slow down and check all the different angles we can get of a subject we're shooting. And that's what Fro Knows Photo video was about. He was showing how, you know, everybody kind of gravitates towards the normal photo that everybody else has, and we don't take the time to get the other angles of the shot. So we may only shoot this waterfall today, you know. I'm ended up spending way more time here. I only have a limited amount of time. However, I think by spending all of our time just here at the one location, it'll yield better photos as a result of that. At least that's the theory. So we'll see. So a lot of this is just, today's vlog is me setting up in different spots, shooting the same waterfall. And again, I worry that that might be boring or something, but you know, sometimes that's what it takes to get the great shot, the banger, the whatever, is taking your time and really photographing the subject that you're, you know, seeing, if that makes sense. So we're gonna shoot from here, this angle is a little bit different. You can't see the entire waterfall. You only see the top half of it, and then it kind of disappears behind all the rocks. You can actually see it here in frame this time. So we'll see how that looks as I set up the camera here. I've already, and just to give you guys an idea of time, I've already been at this waterfall long enough that I just had to change the batteries in both cameras. So we've already gone through one set of batteries. Just taking photos with this camera, I went through a full battery, and then obviously the video from this. But to go through a full battery of photos already kind of tells you how long we've been at this one location. All right, let's see what we can do here. I can already tell, I'm definitely have to zoom in for this because if it's too wide, there's just too much going on to really, the waterfall looks so small, kind of like it does for you guys. And without any other subject in the photo like I do in the video that you guys are watching, it definitely looks a little weird. So, in my opinion, definitely going to zoom in a little bit, try right here I think. I'm still kind of switching between apertures and stuff. I think I'm going with a 5-second shutter speed, 7.1, an f7.1 aperture, ISO of 100. 2-second timer, we'll take the shot. I'll put it on screen here for you guys so you guys can see. I definitely think we need to zoom in a little more still yet. It's still kind of, again, you're not seeing a lot of the waterfall since it's already disappearing behind the, so let's go way in, 135. Maybe back off that just a bit to keep the waterfall in frame. Something like that, I think. 5-second shutter speed again. As I've been shooting, I have dropped my shutter speed. I was doing like 10 seconds, but I noticed there's enough of a breeze that if I do it, you get the leaves just look like streaks of green. So I've had to drop my shutter speed. Long exposure is definitely better if you're shooting when there's zero wind. The less wind you have when you're doing long exposure, the better. Unless you're shooting a subject where there's nothing like leaves and stuff that are blowing around. If I just had rocks and the waterfall in the shot, I don't think it would matter that much. However, with all this stuff in the foreground and stuff, a 10-second shutter speed was kind of killing the photo. Still 7.1 aperture, we'll try that. Then I might lower the aperture to the lowest this frame will allow me to go zoomed in, which I think will be 5.6. Let's say I like how that's looking though. So yeah, we're gonna go down to a 5.6 f-stop just to see what that does for me. Again, 2-second timer. And let's take a look at that one. Oh yeah, that looks good right there. All right, I think we're gonna try a couple vertical shots now. So let me reorient the camera here. I think we'll try like that. Still 5-second with a 5.6 aperture, 2-second timer, and then we might even try a shorter, like a 3.2-second timer. See what that does for us. Again, the leaves are kind of messing me up, or the wind. Not so much the leaves, but the wind. You know, that still looks good though, even with the. Now we'll try 3.2-second shutter speed, but we'll raise the. So now we're going to go with an f9 aperture, 3.2-second shutter speed. I like that a lot actually. And unfortunately, I don't know if you can hear it in the microphone or not, but the wind is picking up the longer I'm here. Also, the sun has now come out from behind the clouds, so the lighting is not as good as it was. Let's try f11 aperture. Still a 3.2-second shutter speed. I'm actually, the more and more I'm shooting, the more and more I realize you don't need a super long shutter speed with long exposure if you got water and stuff flowing pretty good. 3.2 seconds is working. It actually looks really good and it's helping me keep everything else in focus. I will try to up it here a touch to a 5-second just to see what that does for us. Yeah, I actually think I like the 3.2 better. Oh, we're actually peaking a bit. Yeah, like I said, that sun's coming out. My filter is almost too. That looks better. We had to turn up the filter a little more. I'm almost at max on my ND filter. Sun coming out's killing me, along with the wind. All right, I think that's it for this location. We might try to go over some and see if we can get it from the other side. And then, like I said, we might end up finishing up here at this waterfall. All right, guys, so we got one more angle of the waterfall here that we were shooting. I forgot to set up this camera as I was actually shooting it, but I'll show you guys my favorite picture from this angle. And then, like I said, I think that that's going to, I think we're gonna call it there for the day. Not gonna get a chance to go to the other waterfall today, which again, I think is fine. Again, sometimes in photography, as photographers, I think we get in a hurry to try to get as many awesome shots as we can, and we rush and rush and rush. Whereas today I decided to just slow down, try to really photograph this one subject and get the best shots I can. So we'll see if it paid off in Lightroom. But all right, with that said, we gotta hike out of here now, so get back to the car. Let's go. All right, guys, we made it back to the parking lot, getting ready to head out. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I know it was a little different. Like I said, kind of trying to figure it out as we go. But thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you guys like videos like this, photography videos, gaming videos, make sure to hit the red subscribe button below. Don't forget to ring the bell next to it to be notified when I post new videos. Don't forget to like the video if you liked it. And until next time, peace out, everybody.